Hello YouTube. Sorry I hadn't uploaded in a week. The reason that is I had nothing to film, and the second reason is the few videos I did have on my tablet that I tried to upload. Some of them are ones that I've uploaded months ago and forgot to delete it, and because I had a lot of Clash of Clans videos I was trying to get rid of on my tablet because they've been on there a long time. Well, yes, they are finally all got rid of, and I put together the bike video, so I've got to upload something. So I put together that bike video that had probably been on there a month or two. But today we're having a look at this lawnmower engine, because after fixing the 3 lawnmowers that I did fix, I actually quite enjoyed it, getting them all 3 running. So I thought I want something similar to do. So today we're looking at this lawnmower engine. This lawnmower engine is off of a Hayter Harrier. I don't know if it's the 48, but it's one of the ones with the roller at the back and the side mounted engine self-propelled system. When I picked up the engine, someone else is mowing the lawn as well, obviously with a petrol mark, because I can hear it. When I got the engine, the pull start wasn't actually on it, and it isn't bolted on it. This is just it's sort of just balanced on it. There's no actual bolts holding it on. And there's the starter pull thing handle that we just put there. All I'm actually filming it for is this is going to be a little project. We're going to try and get this engine to run. Now, the engine has no spark plug, no air filter, it's got no oil in it, and quite frankly, this is what I want to show you in the oil. It's got this, as you can see, disgusting white muck. It looks a little bit like car wax. I'm not really sure what it is, and it's got this mixture of brown, which seems to be like rusty type water, and that white car wax material in here. So I'm not quite sure what oil they've used or what that is, but whatever it is, it wants cleaning. Obviously, I'm not going to go and buy some more putting in it. Sorry if it's a little windy. It's quite windy today. This engine actually came from where I got the minimoto from. It was at exactly the same place. Because when I picked up the minimoto, there was also a petrol strimmer, which again I wish I'd have picked up as well. The pull rope was missing. I'm assuming it had probably snapped. And the actual reason that made me go back there in the evening to have a look is I saw a lawnmower that was a Hayter Harrier with a roller, and the guy was fixing the engine. I thought to myself, I wonder if he ever gets it going, and if he doesn't get it going, he throws it out. I thought that'd be a good project, see if I could get it going. And obviously I went back there in the evening, and there was the minimoto, which we picked up, a petrol strimmer and a lawnmower, or part of a lawnmower. All the handles and wheels and everything there. The petrol tank was there, because obviously it's one of those ones where the petrol tank goes around the engine. But there was no engine, and I thought if I'd have been allowed to bring it home and I thought I had some hope of getting it going, I would have done. But if I had brought it home, now they've thrown out the engine. Look, obviously I'm assuming this is the engine for it. A couple of months later, well, I don't know if it's a couple of months, but it's months later, I would have been able probably to be able to get it going. But yeah, as you said, there's no oil, but we do have 2 bottles in the trailer with the minimoto of used car engine oil. One is for a car with over 100,000 miles, and I don't know how many miles the other car. They're both Citroen and they're both diesel. But we're going to put probably some of that oil in it. Not in this video, in later videos, we'll just use some of that or old oil, used car engine oil to put in it. The pull thing recoil, when I found it, it was in pretty rough shape and still is. It was quite rusty. I pulled it out, the recoil spring inside was extremely rusted and jamming and stuff. So I sprayed a lot of WD-40 in there, and it made a bit better, but it was obviously all rust material and stuff in there. So I actually got it under a bucket of water and swirled it around, and then held it with one hand and pulled it over with the other. And obviously lots of rust material started coming out of it, and it operates better now, but obviously I will still put oil in there. It's one of these pull cords. That's you can see the recoil spring inside, I think. So Yeah, it's in pretty rough shape. This is one of the older type mowers with the thing on the top here. This, it isn't entirely safe, this engine perched up here. This is where the pull cord goes on, and this seems to be moving quite freely, although I probably will give it a little bit of oil. And you can tell it's an old engine because the Sovereign that I've put in the shed for the winter and the quail cart, this is actually curved with the fan here. So as this blows air, this blows the throttle closed. These springs on them to anyway hold the throttle wide open, and obviously as this blows wind, it blows it shut to stop it over revving. So it's on full throttle for starting. Then obviously as it starts up, it quickly sets itself at a nice speed. But this is one of the straight ones. Obviously, as you can tell, it's not nice and curved. It's just sort of, you can just tell it's an older design. And obviously, my two don't have this design. Well, I don't know about the quail cast because I've never took the pull start off of it. But the Sovereign has, well, I suppose where this is, it's actually got a dip. It's got like a case slotted in here. Obviously, this is different. This vane. And the pull cord, as you turn it, it's got gears, 2 plastic gears, and they sort of fly out and catch into the like latches in the dip bit, and that turns the engine over. Where this one, I'm assuming it's permanently engaged, and as the engine's turning, this obviously is staying still. But if you was to reverse it, it would be doing this. So you probably wouldn't hear that noise, obviously, with the engine running, or the noise the engine would be making running. The engine does turn over, it is not seized. This is the magneto, I believe it's called, which on here, whoops, don't know what that was. Here, these are magnets on there. They're magnets, and as they go past this, it obviously creates like a magnetic field thing, which creates electricity for the spark plug. But there's one at the back here, and I'm not entirely sure what it does. I'm assuming it does a similar thing because it looks a bit like a magneto-y type thing, and it's got this wire. But I don't obviously actually know whether this is important should I want to start it. If this wire is important and needs to connect to something that's missing, then obviously the engine's never going to run, and I won't be ever starting it. But if it's not actually necessary to start the engine, then we're good. Although it looks necessary, I'm hoping it isn't necessary. The oil again's got that disgusting sludgy muck in there. You probably can't see, and I can't see that well myself. The exhaust is normal. The exhaust cage is a bit bent up, and the muffler's normal, but it's got this plate in front of it, which isn't normal. And that's sort of, I don't know if that's like a restrictor thing. I don't really know what that's doing. But I'd like to, if the engine runs, I'll probably bend all this back into shape. There was a bit of a twig sticking out of there, a bit of a bramble bush when I got it. So obviously what crap's in there, I wouldn't know, and I'm afraid I doubt I'll take the head off. I might. But all I am really filming this for is because I'd like you to answer some questions for me, if any of you know anything a little bit more than me. This is the breather, or I'm assuming it's the breather. It is. This would say this is the breather, I believe. But what I want to know is where the fuel goes in from. Now, this little black thing controls this gold thing that's moving, and I'm assuming that's to do with how much air you want coming in. And this silver one here, you probably can't see, and I think it does. Yeah, I don't know if you can see in there. No, you can't see, but this does like the same thing as this, but it's very small, which I believe is the throttle for the petrol, or something like that, anyway. Although when I move this, oh no, it does operate. So yeah, obviously originally I suppose the engine had one of those throttle cables with the choke on the handle, because it's quite an old engine. But this is like the overhead valve prime carb, sorry, except the overhead valve ones have a separate screw just for draining it a little bit. This has the bolt on the bottom, and the only area that I can see petrol coming in from, obviously the intake manifold still bolts on the back, is this here. I want you lot to tell me if that there is the intake for where it sucks in the petrol. If it, I assume it probably is, but that's what I need you to tell me. There's also this other wire that clips on the bottom here, which doesn't really seem to be doing much. It goes to the magneto for the spark plug, then comes round and just goes on the bottom here to a plastic clip thing. Whether it's like an earth or something, I'm not really sure. Again, we don't know. This engine possibly had an electric starter, judging by these gears at the bottom. This, although it's quite an old mower that it was off of, as I said, it was off of a Hayter Harrier with a roller. It was not a new one, it was quite an old one. But it possibly still had a electric start, so a button start or a key start, and the starter would have gone in there. Or that's what it would appear like to me. Hayter lawnmowers are pretty good models. They're very expensive. But I was wondering if there was something supposed to be like the same as this side on here, but this has obviously 2 bolts, and here there's only 1. And there's something missing here, but I'm not entirely sure what. So all I actually want you to let me know is this the intake for the petrol? I need to know if that is the intake or not. Is that necessary to be plugged onto something for the engine to run? I don't think it is. I've seen people run engines with these off, but is it necessary just to start it? Just if you can tell what... it is off of a Hayter Harrier, or I believe so anyway. But if you know what sort of year these engines, this design with the... and I said it's off of a Hayter Harrier, so hopefully that helps. What sort of year the engine's possibly from, with the side propel and this type of design, with the weird type carb thing for this age. If you know roughly what year this engine's likely to be from, please also let me know. So I'd like to know what year the engine's from. I also want to know if this wire that's with this another magneto thing here at the back, that goes, this wire goes to it, or I believe so, I think it probably does. Is this wire, and what does it plug into, and is it necessary to start the engine? Does this have to be plugged into something to start the engine, or is this to do with the electric start that judging by that gear at the bottom, I'm assuming this mower's possibly had an electric start. Maybe this is for that. Again, I'm not sure. But if this is necessary to start the engine, I'd like to know what it plugs into, and just those 2 things, what this wire and that, and the age of the engine. When I turn the engine over, when I rotate the engine, this does turn, as you can see, does turn, and also the one on the bottom, where the blade would have goes, does turn. The gear ratio's different, because like I said, well, I'm spinning this the same speed, and this one underneath for the blade is spinning a lot quicker than what this one is. So I'm assuming the gear's adjusted internally, so that this doesn't spin round at the same speed as the engine, or I'm assuming it's like that. If anyone does know what that gunky stuff is as well, or what it could be, please let me know that as well. But yeah, this is just going to be like a little project. As I said, it is quite an old engine, I think anyway, and just those things is what I want you to let me know. And once I find out what those things are, all I've done off camera to this mower is lubricated, and I will still put a lot of oil in there, is got the pull start to work of a fashion. That's it. There's all the bolts that hold it to the engine are missing. That bolt there that holds this carb thing on's missing, so I'll have to find a bolt to go in there. I've probably got bolts lying around, that's not an issue. I do not plan on using this engine on any of my lawnmowers, or as them two both run fine. Although the Quell cast has started running lumpy again. So I'm going to take the assumption that the carb on the Quell cast is either blocked up, the diaphragm and gasket's possibly knackered, and it runs fine enough for me, but it doesn't run very smoothly. And also I adjusted the spring on the Sovereign so that it's not revving so high, because it revs quite high, and to me it's unnecessary, as we don't let our grass get that tall before we cut it. The mount field, we did manage to get rid of it. We did manage to sell it. Someone finally brought it. I can't remember when they picked it up. Was it last week? I don't know when it was. But anyway, I've put this in here for the winter. We've got a cover for the barbecue. This is the cover that was covering up those bikes. We've put a new black cover over the push bikes up there. While I'm out here, I'll just show you that. I know this is nothing to do with the engine at all, that I was originally filming. We've gone a bit off task. That black cover is a barbecue cover that we brought for that barbecue, but because it's bigger, too big for the barbecue, we used that for the bikes and the smaller bench cover for the barbecue. I also managed to get hold of this girl's bike, which isn't really any, when I say it isn't really any good, it's quite grubby. I've not done anything to it. That's pretty perished, and judging by this type, I can tell by the condition and the way it is that this, and the paint's bubbled, I suspect this has been permanently wet or under long grass and around the corner. The front wheel is slightly bent, whether it's been twisted and wedged in that position for a long time so it hasn't sprung back. It would have originally had one of those little Barbie seats on the back for a doll. It's a bit rusty. For a child, it is rideable. Although, what I'm probably going to do is just sand some of the rust off and probably sell it on eBay as spares or repairs. It's just an old bike I got hold of. I want a hose pipe reel for this, because this is a hose pipe we got hold of. My dad got hold of it from a house. I don't know where he got it from, really. But we want a hose pipe reel for it, because it's a nice hose pipe. We want to put it away for the winter. But it's, shall we say, taking up a lot of room. It would be much neater on one of these. That's got to go in there. That's got to come down the shed. I'll take that with me now. Seems as I've just remembered. And we've got some other hose pipe equipment up there somewhere, screwed up. We also picked up a few solar lights not that long ago. That silver one doesn't work, that silver one doesn't work, and that silver one doesn't work. When I say they don't work, they all do work, but when you hold it against the sun, the bulb doesn't go off, so there's obviously something wrong with the sensors on them. That black one we got hold of works, and that black one works. What else is that gnome thing under the bench here? The back wire has come unsoldered, so we just kept it as an ornament. And that owl, I will walk back up here so you can see it, because I've got no hands free now. So that owl there that I've chucked in the conservatory is quite nice. It's very nice as an ornament, even if the lights don't work of a night. So we're just taking this down the shed for now. Where can we put it? That's a jet wash I got hold of. You probably already know that, but I've probably said it in another video. But I've never actually tested it to see if it works. So it might not even work, but we'll never know until I test it. And I probably won't test it unless my dad ever needs something pressure washing, and then we'll get it out then to see if it works. And if it doesn't work, then we'll chuck it out, or try and repair it if there's something simple. But that's it. I don't know if you can remember what I've already said about the engine, or whether you've forgotten again. Just those few things. Is that the intake for the petrol? What does that do, and is it necessary to start the engine? Or is it, as I said, for possibly a thingy start? And that's it, really. And what's that gunky stuff? And this is more just a little project. I know it's winter, which is why we've packed most things away. Unfortunately, you will not be seeing, or very unlikely, and also an update on the subscriber special. Sorry, the 80 subscriber special, the video was very small, but that's due to the video merger I planned on using. As I said in the video, I said I accidentally hit the stop button and I hoped the video merger worked. But of course, as you can imagine, it didn't work. There was something wrong with it. And I believe that it was possibly the intro causing that. But also, I've got a bit of a dodgy problem with the storage on my phone. It says it's at 92% storage use, which is literally nothing. But yet I recorded a 1 hour video, so I don't know what's going on with that, whether it's a glitch. I doubt it is. Probably a problem that I'll never be able to fix. But as long as I can still record videos, and I've recorded this one and it's 19 minutes 50, So it's still working fine for me. If I, as I said, for 90 subscribers when I get there, I am destroying another PlayStation, and for 100 on my laptop. But I can't guarantee they'll come out the day I get them, or I will only really be able to do it on a Saturday, and you'll have to wait for a nice Saturday, because winter's, well, it's here, and the weather's, shall we say, not the best. I mean, I can deal with it, this weather. It's not warm, but if it starts to get really freezing cold and stuff, it's miserable for me. I won't be enjoying it, do you know what I mean? I'd rather just wait for it, and I'm sure you would rather have a nice video than one that's a bit rushed, because it's cold outside and I don't want to be out there and all the rest of it. But you're likely to not be seeing really any outdoor videos throughout the winter. It will be mostly gaming. So that'd be Clash of Clans, Boom Beach, Clash Royale, and I might try and do some PS4 videos. I'll have a little look into that. So yeah, I'll try and do some PlayStation videos as well. And the only way I don't know how to download a screen recorder on the PlayStation. I've never looked into it or anything like that. Obviously, I'm not going to be one of those persons that sits there and films the TV, like the whole TV. But what I might do for PlayStation 1 and the Nintendo Wii, if I film those games, is zoom the phone in so it's only the TV screen you can see, and so it would be like a screen recorder. You'd only see the screen rather than the actual whole intelli and all the junk around it, if you know what I mean. I'll show you what I mean. For example, we haven't got anything that's square. I'll look for something that's square. This isn't a perfect example. Pretend this is the TV. This is a circle TV and this black solar panel. This is the screen. Rather than filming it like this, I'd zoom it in until obviously the TV's rectangle, so it would work the phone until it's just like that. On the top and bottom, as you can see, you can't see really all the white plastic. Look, if I do that, you can only see it on the two other sides. So I think you get an idea what I mean. You're probably going to laugh, and I'm probably confusing you. But back to the engine, because we've gone completely off the subject. I've said this loads of times now. It was just a project. I will be filming it if you can answer those questions. And I plan on getting it running. When I plan on getting it running, I plan on to start it and to see it run. Obviously, I'm not going to use it on anything because I don't require it. I don't really know what I'll do with it. I'm obviously going to leave it in the shed here for the winter. Whoops, we'll zoom it out. But obviously next summer, when obviously it might not have room in the shed, because obviously during the summer months the shed's a very active place and people are in and out, I might just stick it under the trailer under there. I probably won't throw the engine away if it runs, but obviously that is if it runs. The engine might not run. If that wire is necessary for this to start the engine, and what it plugs into is missing, then we're doomed. Obviously, I'm not buying any parts for it, and any parts that are broken that need replacing for the engine to be able to start that I don't already have, the engine's rubbish and it'll probably just get thrown away. I might strip it for parts. I possibly will actually, because I stripped an overhead valve engine, but both those mowers are not overhead valve engines, so the head would probably fit those two, possibly. The exhaust would, the cage would, the magneto thing would, the spring would be useful. That rubber thing could be used. The actual block itself obviously wouldn't, because it has this, and none of those two mowers have a side self-propelled. But that's the end of this video. I hope you can answer those questions. Obviously, I'm going to do some research myself. Now I know what mower it's off of. There's a number here. It's, what's it say? It's got 86, 16p. It's 86, then 16 there, then a P, if that means anything, or says any light. It's engine. I am 99% sure that this engine is from a Hayter Harrier with a roller. I don't know if it's a Hayter Harrier, it's a Hayter lawnmower with a roller on the back, with a side self-propelled thing. I do have a picture of it on my phone, but obviously I'm filming on my phone, so I can't show you the picture. And it was with that lawnmower, it's not the engine, it's just the green lawnmower, the minimoto and the petrol strimmer. But that's the end of this video. Comment, like and subscribe before you get bored of watching if you haven't already. And I'll see you soon, hopefully once I've, learnt some information on it and doing it up. When I say doing it up, I mean getting it ready to start. So, thanks for watching.